Hello, fifth grade. We are looking at our lesson 95 about reciprocals. Reciprocals is our topic. So let's take a look at what does that mean. All right. So a reciprocal is when you switch the numerator and the denominator of a fraction. And that's called inverting the fraction, where we switch the top and the bottom number. So for 3/4, the reciprocal of 3/4 would be 4/3. All right. If I had the number 1/2, if I had the number 1/2, then my reciprocal becomes 2/1. We're just switching these babies. Okay. So we switch the 2 to the top and switch the 1 to the bottom. Okay? So when we look at these, we want to think of it as just flip-flopping the bottom and the top. All right. So for a reciprocal, since 3 equals 3/1, the reciprocal is 1/3. Now, when you look at a whole number like 3, well, how do you get 3 out of 1? Well, when you think about what a fraction means, if this is 3, and I have this one, and I have this one, and it's asking me how many pieces is that broken into? Well, there's only one piece, so 1 becomes my denominator. That's why 3 equals the same as 3/1. So when we make the reciprocal, we have to flip-flop those numbers. The 1 goes on top, and the 3 goes on the bottom. Now, the product of any number and its reciprocal is always 1. If you look at this example here, 2/3 times 3/2 equals 6/6, or 1. If I had 4/10 times 10/4, 4 times 10 is 40, 10 times 4 is 40, and 40 is the same as 1. So anytime you have a fraction times its reciprocal, your answer is always going to be 1, no matter what the numbers are. You know, you can have something like 1,254 over 3,168. We multiply it by its reciprocal, where we put the top number on the bottom and the bottom number on the top, and that's going to be 1. We don't even have to do the math. We just know that it's going to be 1. Okay, kind of nice when you're talking about that. Now, what is the reciprocal of 8? Well, here's 8, and they're cut into one piece each, so that's the same as 8/1. So the reciprocal of 8 would be 1/8. Okay, if you have a whole number, all you got to think, I'm going to put a 1 on the top and put the whole number on the bottom. So what's the reciprocal of 21? Oops, 21. The reciprocal of 21 would be, we put a 1 on the top and we put the 21 on the bottom. Okay, because you can think of it that way. All right, it's 21. That's a whole number. That's going to become the denominator, and then we just put a 1 on the top. Okay. When we divide by, when we're looking at dividing by things for fractions, if I have the number 1 and I'm dividing it by a fraction, I know, okay, so I know that this number, the 1, divided by 3/4 equals some number. I can also say that some number times 3/4 equals 1 because of a fact family, right? So if I have a fact family and I say 1 divided by 3/4 equals question mark times 3/4 equals 1, well, we just said on the other page, what number times that 3/4 is going to get me to 1? It's reciprocal, right? So we have the 4 on the top and the 3 on the bottom. We just crisscross them. Okay, moving that 3 to the bottom and the 4 to the top. So in this case, my answer would be 4/3. Okay, that's how we do that when we're looking for dividing by numbers like that. So I wanted to do a few examples with you just to make sure we are getting the idea. So if I'm looking at what is the reciprocal of something, so what's the reciprocal of 7/8? The reciprocal, it's not equal to, but the reciprocal is equal to, I'm just going to do receive. It's equal to 8/7. That's not equal to each other, but that's the reciprocal. And if I take, how about the number 91? What's the reciprocal of 91? Well, the reciprocal of 91 is 1 over what number? 91, right? Because this number over here is the same as 91 over 1. I have 91 of them, and they're in one whole piece. Okay? And one more example. What if we have 1 divided by 2/5? 1 divided by 2/5 equals some number. Some number times 2/5 equals 1. And we said the reciprocal makes it so that it equals 1. So it has to be 5/2. We just flip-flop those numbers. Okay? Because we're asking how many 2/5 can we get out of there. All right? And 5 times 2 is 10. 2 times 5 is 10. 10/10 is the same as 1. Your homework today is finding reciprocals of the numbers that are listed on your worksheet. So flip-flop the numbers. And when you have something like this, remember that that is going on the bottom and the number 1 goes on top. All right. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, as this is a Thursday lesson. And we will see you back on Tuesday, since Monday is Memorial Day. Have a great weekend.